If you're a realtor and you just clicked on this video right now, it is likely that you want to become the absolute best cold caller when it comes to for sale by owners and communicator in general. You want to be able to close more deals by cold calling people, setting qualified listing appointments, and meeting with them and actually earning their business. In this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step what not to say on the phone, specifically with for sale by owners, and I'm going to show you exactly what you should say instead. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what words, what lines, and what phrases you should never ever use because they're going to trigger sales resistance and they're going to make the prospect want to hang up. And you're going to leave the video knowing exactly what to say and immediately be able to literally, after this video is over, get on the phone and start setting qualified listing appointments. I want to get right into it. I want to show you guys and share my screen here. I actually asked ChatGPT what not to say to for sale by owners, and we're going to kind of pop back and forth from here. I'm going to give you the ones that I obviously know from training agents for almost 3 years at this point that you should not be using. So first one is, let's say you're calling a for sale by owner. A lot of the scripts that you guys are using right now tell you to say, hey, John, this is Alexis with eXp Realty. I'm calling about 123 Main Street. Is it still available? Here's what I would recommend you say. I highly recommend that you do not say, hi, John, this is Alexis with eXp Realty. Everybody else that is calling says the exact same thing in the exact same way. One of the big things that we'll talk a little bit about in this video is tonality, and I'll break the tonality down for you in a second. But here's the thing, guys. When you're calling for sale by owners, you are not the only realtor calling. So the faster that you can sound different, the more you're going to get into that conversation, the more questions you're going to be able to ask, the higher likelihood you'll have to have a conversation with the for sale by owner and set an appointment. So instead of saying, hey, John, this is Alexis with eXp Realty. Is the home on 123 Main Street still available? You'll say, hey, John. Yeah, John, this is actually Alexis. I just clicked on the home here on 5th Street for sale by owner. Is that property still available, or did you guys already put it under contract? Okay, that is called an either or question frame. Okay. You'll say this. I'll say it one more time. Hey, John. Yeah, John, this is actually Alexis. I clicked on the home here on 5th. Out of curiosity, is that home still available, or did you guys already find a buyer for it? Okay, what that does, that is called an opener. All it's supposed to do is get you inside of the conversation. Some of you guys right now were like, well, he's going to ask you, are you a realtor? Do you have a buyer? Yes, and I'm going to show you how to manage that here in a second. The only thing an opener is supposed to do is open the conversation and get you in the conversation. A lot of your openers right now are triggering sales resistance and getting you out of the conversation. Some of you guys are doing this as well. You'll say, hey, John, this is Alexis with eXp Realty. I clicked on the home here on 1275 Southwest 18th Street, Miami. Is this your property? Are you the owner? You guys are saying out the entire address. They know what home they have for sale. And if they have multiple homes for sale, they will tell you and they'll say, which property are you talking about? Oh, the one on 5th Street. So all you have to do is, this is the opener. Hey, John. Yeah, John, listen, this is actually Alexis. I'm going to keep it brief. I'm sure you're getting a ton of calls here. The property you have for sale here on Northwood Drive, is that home still for sale, or did you already happen to find a buyer for it? Okay, also, let's talk about tonality real quick. A lot of you guys have that upward inflection, salesy tone. Hey, John. Yeah, John, listen, this is Alexis. I'm calling here with the eXp Realty. I'm going to be brief here. That property you have on 15th Street, is it still for sale? A lot of you guys use that cheesy sales tone that immediately tells the prospect that you're cold calling them, and it doesn't sound like a real conversation. So what you want to do is say something like, hey, John, lower downward inflection, calm and composed tone. Hey, yeah, John, listen, it's actually Alexis. I'm going to keep this super short, man. Listen, I know you're probably getting a ton of calls. I do see you are for sale by owner. The property on 5th Street, is it still for sale, or did you already happen to find a buyer for it? That's it. You don't want to say your company. You don't want to say your full name. You don't want to say the full address. Hey, John, it's actually, I love saying that word. It's actually just Alexis. Listen, I'm going to keep this brief. That's called objection prevention. I'm going to keep this brief. I know that you're for sale by owner and you've probably gotten a ton of calls. You're already acknowledging their pain before they can acknowledge it. That immediately is going to make their shoulders come down and make them feel a little bit more comfortable. I had one quick question. Is the home still available, or did you guys already happen to find a buyer for it? You can use variations for that. Is the home still available, or is it already under contract? Is the home still available, or did you already find somebody for it? Is the home still available, or do you have something in the works? The point is, it is only to open the conversation. Do not use your company name. Do not say your full name. Do not say the full address. Now, one of the main things that most prospects will say right away is, are you a realtor? are you a realtor? And a lot of you guys will say, yeah, I'm a realtor. I'm with eXp Realty. And you literally will not say anything else. And then now the prospect will ask you the questions, and the one asking the questions is the one in control. Are you a realtor? Yeah, I'm with eXp Realty. Do you have a buyer? Well, I don't have a specific buyer, and you're done. The conversation's over. So here's how that goes. Let's say John says, are you a realtor? You're not going to say, yeah, I'm a realtor with eXp Realty. You're going to say, look, John, I am an agent. I'm going to keep this straight to the point. I know you've gotten a ton of calls right now and you're for sale by owner, and the last thing you want to do is probably talk to an agent. Out of curiosity, the only question I had was, if I connected you with an outside offer that made financial sense to you, even after the commissions and closing costs, is that an idea that you're even open to at this point, as long as it meant more money in your pocket? I know that was a lot, but that is very specific communication. Number one, I said, look, I'm an agent, John. I know that the last thing you want to do right now is have another conversation with an agent. I know that you're for sale by owner. You acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your concern, and you didn't stop. You led into a question. The only question I have for you, John, if I brought you an offer, not a buyer, I don't say the word buyer. The word buyer is a no-no word. If I brought you a client or an offer that had terms that made sense to you financially, I'm not talking about my commission, I'm talking about their needs financially. If I brought you a client with an outside offer that had terms that made sense to you financially, and I'm being specific, even after the commissions and closing costs, are you even open to the idea at this point? And I don't end the question there. I get more specific. If it meant significantly more money in your pocket. They're always 95% of the time going to say, yeah, I mean, what does that look like? Yeah, what does your commission look like? Yeah, if you bring me a buyer, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Now you're in the conversation. So something that I want to address here real quick. I want to get off topic for a second. A lot of you guys say, do you have a second to talk? Or is this a good time? Or can I ask you a couple questions about your property? That is the last thing you guys want to do. You want to get straight into it. You don't need to ask for permission. If they were truly in a meeting, if they truly couldn't talk, they just wouldn't answer the phone. Okay, so when they say, are you a realtor? We're going to say, yeah, John, look, I am an agent. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I know you've probably gotten a ton of calls, and the last thing you want to do right now is speak to another agent. The only question was, if I brought you an outside offer with financial terms that made sense for you, even after the commissions and closing costs, at this point, is that an idea you're open to, as long as it meant more money in your pocket? He is most likely going to say, yes. What does that look like? Do you have a buyer? Okay, and we're not going to get into the whole entire script and framework. I want to go with the what not to say. So let's come back here for a second. A lot of you guys say, I have a buyer for your home. Or you'll say, I don't have a specific buyer. It could be either or. You could say, I have a buyer for your home, which even if you do, it does not matter. It is irrelevant. We are trying to get a listing. Obviously, we can't say, hey, can we list your home? But the goal is a qualified appointment to get a qualified listing. So we are not going to say, hey, John, I have a buyer for your home. What time can I go see the property? No, we are not going to say, hey, John, I do not have a specific buyer for your home, but I want to know what you're looking for in a buyer. We are not going to say that either. If they ask us, do we have a buyer? We're going to say, look, John, I obviously work with a lot of buyers in the area. That's exactly why I'm calling you. And listen, I know that right now, this is called objection prevention. I know that right now you don't want to work with a realtor and you can fully do it on your own. Can I be honest with you? This is where you break the pattern. Okay, most realtors just go question, 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 question. This is where you break the pattern. John, can I be honest with you? Listen, I know most realtors right now are probably telling you that you cannot sell this on your own and that you need an agent to sell it. I actually want to go ahead and tell you that no matter what people say, I think you can go ahead and sell this property on your own through Zillow without a realtor, okay? However, correct me if I'm wrong, from what I'm gathering on the short time that we've been on the phone, it sounds like your main objective is to sell the property for the most amount of money, correct? He's going to say 100% of the time, yes, if you ask it the right way. And listen, John, I do have buyers that I work directly with that I could probably show this property to, but at the end of the day, you just confirmed to me you want to make the most amount of money possible. My question to you was, if I showed you a way that I can actually put this property in front of better buyers that, by the way, here's the best pitch that I give. What you guys don't understand, and this is what we have to explain to sellers on the phone, what sells a property for more or less money is two things: marketing and sales. Marketing is simply who sees the property and how qualified are they to buy it. That's what marketing is. And when they put the property on Zillow, they are marketing it to realtors that want their listing, buyers that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and investors that want to lowball them. But we have to tell them that in a clever way where their for sale by owner brain understands. That's what marketing is. It's exposure. How we market better is by putting it on the MLS to qualified agents that have qualified buyers. And in some cases, when necessary, you market out of the county, out of the state, and in Miami, out of the country. Okay? And the second part that sells a home for more or less is when a buyer calls that property or an agent calls that property, how well are you able to qualify, question, and present the value of that property? And 9 out of 10 times, I will beat a homeowner on that because I am a trained salesperson. I am literally a sales coach, and the students in my sales academy are literally trained to sell. A random homeowner selling their home for sale by owner is not, but we cannot say, hey, Mr. Homeowner, you should hire me because I can communicate better than you. They'll be like, fuck off, I don't care. Okay, so what we say is, here's the following, right? And look, John, I know that right now you want to do it for sale by owner. I want to be honest with you and tell you that no matter what an agent says, I think you can sell this property on your own. But from what you've told me, you obviously are committed. That's called an identity label. You are committed to selling the property for the most amount of money, correct? Yeah, so my question to you is, John, look, you're doing it for sale by owner right now. It sounds like you have your ducks in a row. If there was a way to actually get this property in front of better buyers, and by the way, John, I don't know if anybody's told you this, in New Jersey, some of the buyers that are going to buy this home for more money are not even in New Jersey. They're not even in the county. They're not even in the state. Right now, you're on Zillow only marketing to realtors and mainly investors. So my question to you is, if I was able to show you how we can get this home in front of better buyers with better offers, and after any commission or closing costs, you were going to net more money by working with my strategy, my question to you is, are you even open to that second opinion, or are you going to do for sale by owner no matter what, even if it meant less money? That is how you position that question. Now, listen, there's obviously motivation questions that we're going to get into here in a second, but that is the main line that I use to gain their business. I tell them all of their objections up front. Look, I know that you're for sale by owner, and guess what? I think you can sell it on your own. I'm not here to tell you that you need a realtor to sell it. You tie them down to their objective, which is 99% of the time making more money, and then you present the second opinion. And you educate them on what marketing and sales is, okay? So we are not going to say, I have a buyer, I don't have a specific buyer. We're going to say, look, John, I work with several buyers in the community. That's why I'm calling you. At the end of the day, you're for sale by owner. You probably don't even want to hear an agent's pitch. Your main objective right now, correct me if I'm wrong, is to just make the most amount of money, correct? That is like my go-to training. I tell you guys to revert back to their financial objective, because most objections, I don't want to pay a commission. I already have a family friend. I can do it on my own. I have experience. You guys need to understand that these are all cost-based objections. They're coming from a place of scarcity, and it's going to cost me money. I want to save. People like me, they think about making more money, not saving money. But 99% of people don't fucking think like that. They think about saving money. So what we do when we objection handle is we reframe them from a cost-based mentality to a results-based mentality. Hey, I don't want to pay commission. Instead of saying, why not? Or even if I can bring you a better offer, we say, hey, look, John, I totally respect the fact that you're doing it for sale by owner. It looks like you have a beautiful property. And I'm assuming at the end of the day, you don't want to pay a commission because you want to put more money in your pocket, correct? That's me reframing them from, I don't want to pay commission, to you just want to put more money in your pocket, correct? Yes. So let me ask you this. And John, listen, I know you've heard the pitch 100 times, and I'm going to be honest with you. You could 100% sell this property on your own. My question to you is, if I was able to show you a way to get this home in front of significantly stronger buyers with better offers, and at the end of everything, you had more money in your pocket net, are you even open to a conversation, or are you going to do it strictly for sale by owner no matter what? And guys, look, obviously I'm jacked up. If you've seen me live, if you've seen me on Instagram, I love training. I get super hyped up. I get my adrenaline rush going. The tonality is not exactly like this. I'm just training you guys on a YouTube video like this right now. I would probably say something like, and you can go on my other live calls on YouTube. I'd say something like, look, John, at the end of the day, I'm working with a few buyers in the area. I don't know if any of the buyers I'm working with make sense for your home. The reason why I'm calling is because I'm assuming that you're for sale by owner because you want to make the most amount of money, right? You have no care in the world for what any realtor has to say or what their buyers have. You want to sign the papers, get the best buyer, and make the most amount of money, right? Simple as that. My question to you, John, is, are you open to the idea if I were to bring you a strategy that can actually show you how to get this home in front of better buyers that have better offers? Because right now, look, John, at the end of the day, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You've been on the market for 36 hours. You've probably spoken to 90% realtors and maybe a couple buyers that don't even have pre-approvals, right? They're going to say, oh, you're kind of right. What are you getting to here? My job, John, is not to tie you into an agreement that's not flexible and that's going to be bad for you and charge you a ton of commission. What I've done for other homeowners in the past that were also for sale by owner and ended up working with me is show them how I can actually get their home in front of better buyers. And by the way, John, I don't know if anybody's told you this. Here's a secret. Some of those buyers are not even in the county and they're not even in the state. So you on Zillow right now, there's no way that they're seeing your property. What I want to do is come by the home and show you how I've done this for other homeowners. And guess what? At the end of the day, you're for sale by owner, you have your ducks in a row. If anything that I share with you on tomorrow or the next day doesn't make sense, you'll just tell me and you'll keep doing it for sale by owner, correct? That's just a little hint at some of the other languages that I use, okay? I don't want to make this video ultra long, guys, but let's go through a couple things here that you guys also are saying that you shouldn't be saying. Asking questions like why you haven't listed with an agent yet is not a good one. I don't know if that's really being said, or asking about what their bottom line price is, or are you working with an agent, or are you open to paying commission? I wouldn't ask that. Instead of saying, are you open to paying commission? I would say, John, look, I'm assuming that at the end of the day, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You just want to make the most amount of money here, right? Yes. If I were to bring you an offer that made sense financially, even after the commissions and closing costs, you still had net numbers that you were extremely happy with. Are you even open to the idea of that? That is how you reframe that question and ask it in the right way. For example, how soon do you have to sell? Or like, how quickly could you move from this property if we brought you the right offer? Those are not the right words to use. You don't want to say how soon or how quickly. This is a home. This is residential real estate. There's emotions involved. You want to say, hey, look, John, ideally, if we obviously connect you with the right buyer, I'm assuming not only do you want to make the most amount of money, I'm assuming you guys want to have the smoothest transition out. Just out of curiosity, if we did connect you with an offer that made sense tomorrow, for example, ideally for you, what would the next steps look like? Would you guys be okay with a standard 30 to 45 day close, or would you guys prefer a special timeline for a closing? That is how you get their motivation. Instead of saying, how soon do you have to sell or how quickly can you move? You say, hey, look, John, at the end of the day, you obviously, I'm assuming number one, you want to sell the property for the most amount of money. And number two, if we connected you with the right buyer, I'm assuming you want the right timeline. So just so I don't waste your time and call you back with a buyer that doesn't make sense, if we brought you the correct offer with the right price, ideally, what kind of a timeline would you guys like for closing? And then you don't leave it open-ended like that. You give them either or. Would you prefer a standard 30 to 45 day close, or would you guys be more comfortable with a flexible timeline? And then they'll tell you every single thing, okay? 1 second, guys. I'm gonna take a sip of my water. Let's see here. Let's go through a couple more. Some of you guys, we're gonna skip through value and positioning. And by the way, real quick, if you guys are new to my YouTube channel, what I do specifically is I train agents on how to build a lead generation strategy in whatever market they're in, whether you're a part-time agent, a full-time agent. If you want to make six figures as a realtor, the most important part of your business is the acquisition of new clients. And listen, whether you want to do cold calling, social media, open houses, I sit down with you, I personalize a plan for you, I teach you what lead generation strategy fits you, your personality, and your market, and your time that you have to invest in this business the best. So if you guys are open to it, there's a link below. You can have a free conversation with me. I'd love to learn more about you and see if any of the things that I've done for other realtors in the past can be beneficial to you. If not, this is my YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. I come out with videos like this every single week that can help you win more deals for free. Anyways, back into this deal. A lot of you guys, a lot of realtors like to use terms like, we're number one in the area. We're the number one team. We have the best marketing plan. I'll do open houses. I'll do all the showings. I'll give you the best service. At the end of the day, let's clarify something really quick. The only reason why we're making cold calls and phone calls is to set qualified appointments. That is the only reason why we make phone calls, okay? We don't have to discuss how good our brokerage is, how good our service is. We have to create enough curiosity and give them enough information about what marketing and selling a property is just to get a qualified listing appointment. Okay, so on the phone, you should not be saying, I'll get you more exposure. I'm with the number one team. They don't care if you're with Compass, Real, EXP, or a local brokerage. They care about how confident you are in being able to get them from point A to point B. So if they ask you, what realty company are you with? You'll say, look, John, I'm with EXP Realty, and can I be honest with you? This is you gaining back control. At the end of the day, from what it sounds like, it doesn't sound like you have a preference between companies. It sounds like you don't even want to use an agent, if I'm being honest, right? It sounds like what you want to do is make sure you do whatever it takes to sell the home for the most amount of money, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you a boring pitch over the phone on why I think I'm with the best brokerage or why I think I'm the actual best agent in that brokerage, because at the end of the day, you don't care. What I'd like to do is pass by your home tomorrow at 5 p.m. walk you through what it is that I've done for other homeowners and understand your situation at a deeper level to see if it even makes sense to talk about the details. Does that make sense? Set the appointment. Okay. We are not here to talk about how big our database is, how fast we can sell the home. We're not on the phone to recommend pricing, to talk about commissions. We are there to set a qualified appointment. Okay, I'm going to keep this video, guys, nice and short, 20 minutes for you guys. A little bit of an understanding of what not to say to for sale by owners. There's 3 things that I always talk about that makes a difference between an agent that gets deals and doesn't. It's what you say, the words that you choose to use. Communication is so specific. How you say those words, the tonality that you use, and more importantly than those 2, it's the 3rd factor, which is when you say those words. Okay, it is very important. Communication is so intricate. It is so detailed. Some of you guys watching this video might be a new agent, or maybe you're scared to make calls, or maybe you're like newer to making calls and you're like, this is a whole lot. I recommend you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my Instagram page. I post content every single day. And if you're serious about leveling up, go ahead and book a call directly with me. I'd love to learn more about you, have a conversation with you, and see whether or not I can help you take it to the next level. Again, my name's Alexis. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Let's go.